بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فإن أحسن الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدى هدى محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وإن شر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Today inshallah we will finish the remaining part of the chapter on intercession inshallah, and in the last lesson we went through some of the verses that Shaykhul Islam Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab rahimah-ullah he brought in order to establish the affair of intercession, that it belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and no one can intercede with Allah except after His permission, and that the intercession of anyone will not benefit unless Allah has granted His permission and unless Allah is pleased with the one for whom intercession is being sought for. And this brought us to a particular verse that Shaykhul Islam Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab rahimahullah that he brought, and this verse is one of the verses which has basically cut off all of the roots and the foundations of shirk, as we will see shortly inshallah. So this verse is the saying of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in which He says, قُلِ ادْعُوا الَّذِينَ زَعَمْتُم مِّن دُونِ اللَّهِ لَا يَمْلِكُونَ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَلَا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَمَا لَهُمْ فِيهِمَا مِنْ شِرْكٍ وَمَا لَهُ مِنْهُمْ مِنْ ظَهِيرٍ وَلَا تَنْفَعُ الشَّفَاعَةُ عِنْدَهُ إِلَّا لِمَنْ أَذِنَ لَهُ. So regarding this verse, the Shaykh says that this ayah and whatever comes after it, then the scholars have said regarding it that it has cut off all of the roots of shirk from their very foundation. That this verse and its meaning, it has cut off the roots of shirk from the very foundations. So then the Shaykh Salih al-Fawzan hafidha-ullah, he then goes on to give an explanation of this verse, and so he says, as for the saying of Allah the Most High, قُل, then this is a command to His messenger, which means say to His messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he should say to those people who call upon the angels and other than the angels, and who claim that these people or these upon whom they call upon will intercede for them, with Allah, without Allah's permission. So Allah is saying, say to them, O messenger, convey to them and inform them and explain to them that. And then Allah says, Ud'u. So Allah says, call upon those whom you claim besides Allah. So here when Allah says to these people, when Allah says to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, that to order those people, say to them, Ud'u, call upon those besides Allah, then this command here is a command of rebuke and a command that implies that they are incapable. Because when we look in the Quran, we find that that whenever Allah commands, sometimes Allah commands, but His command is not from the angle that He wants that thing, that He demands that thing, or that He wants to legislate that particular thing that He's asking for, that He's ordering, but rather from the angle of rebuking. To give an example, Allah says, فَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيُؤْمِنْ وَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيَكْفُرْ. Allah says, so whoever wishes, then let him believe, then believe, and whoever wishes, then disbelieve. Now here Allah is, He's not commanding people with kufr. This is not a command to kufr, even though Allah says, disbelieve if you wish, disbelieve. Even though this is a command, it's not actually Allah requesting or Allah commanding that with kufr. Rather, it's a command that implies a rebuke and a threat, because we know that Allah doesn't command kufr. Allah says فَلْيَكْفُرْ. It means, it means that Allah is saying to these people, or daring to these, that dare to disbelieve, it's like a threat, and it's like a form of rebuke. And sometimes, so that's one way that Allah can command something, but not necessarily want the thing that is being commanded. Rather, it's from the angle of rebuking those people. And the second angle is from the angle of showing that people are incapable. So Allah says, Ya ma'shar al-jinni wal-ins, إن استطعتم أن تنفذوا من أقطار السماوات والأرض فانفذوا. O gathering of jinn and men, if you are able to penetrate, or to penetrate the regions of the heaven and the earth, the extremities of the heaven on the earth, then do so. But here Allah, this is a command from Allah. This is a command from Allah which implies, or which signifies, that they are incapable of doing this. Yet Allah commands it in order to show them that they are incapable. So sometimes Allah will command something not necessarily because He wants that thing fulfilled, but from the angle of showing either the incapability of those people, or from the angle of threatening them, and from the angle of rebuking them. So here, this is one such example. Allah says, Ud'u. Allah says to these people, Ud'u, call upon those whom you claim. Allah is not commanding shirk, but Allah is doing it from the angle, Allah is ordering it from the angle, or this is an order which implies rebuke and criticism for their action. So Allah says, Ud'u alladhina za'amtum, call upon those whom you claim, or about whom you believe. So this again is a refutation against them, because Allah used the word here, za'amtum, those whom you claim. And these people, they didn't base their action upon any evidence from the Sharia. They didn't base this action of theirs upon any evidence from the Sharia which has descended from Allah. Allah didn't legislate for them to call upon those besides Him. Allah only commanded that they should worship, that they should supplicate to Him alone, without any partners. So anyone who supplicated to other than Him, then this is a claim. It's a za'am, it's a claim. And we know that this claim is batil, it is falsehood. And likewise, anyone who didn't depend upon any dalil which is based upon any sound intellect, because we know that the intellect indicates that worship should only be for the one who deserves it, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as for a servant, a needy, poor, incapable servant, then such a person doesn't deserve to be worshipped. And this itself is an evidence from the intellect, the sound intellect. And it is also, along with the evidence of the Sharia, the evidence in the Sharia, that worship and supplication, it is not befitting except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as for az-za'am, the meaning of za'am, its meaning literally is kadhib. Is kadhib. So this shows that when Allah says, Ud'u alladhina za'amtum, call upon those whom you claim. So this shows, and the meaning of za'am means a kadhib, lie. Then this shows that those people are kadhibun, they are liars in this action of theirs. In this action of theirs of calling upon besides Allah, this action of theirs is a lie. And because of this, and also because that they didn't have any dalil or any evidence for this, then this shows that this is a lie. So when Allah says, Ud'u alladhina za'amtum, call upon those whom you claim, or whom you believe, or whom you think wrongly and falsely, that they will benefit you or that they will harm you. This is the meaning of za'amtum here, because this action of theirs was built upon their belief that these things that they call upon will be able to benefit them, or will be able to bring about harm. And Allah says, min dunihi, meaning those besides Allah. Okay, so now first of all, Allah has commanded in this manner, but this command, as we've said before, is a command that implies rebuke, meaning go ahead, call upon those whom you claim, call upon them besides Allah, those whom you claim. And then Allah explains four realities. Right? He explains four realities in the remainder of the verse. So Allah says first of all, لا يملكون مثقال ذرة في السماوات ولا في الأرض, that they do not possess even an atom's weight in the heavens nor upon the earth. وما لهم فيهما من شرك, and nor do they have any share therein. وَمَا لَهُ مِنْهُمْ مِنْ ظَهِيرٍ. And nor does he, meaning Allah, have any aider or helper from amongst them. وَلَا تَنْفَعُ الشَّفَاعَةُ عِنْدَهُ إِلَّا لِمَنْ أَذِنَ لَهُ. And intercession will not benefit or avail anyone except for the one for whom he has granted permission. So Allah here has negated 4 things. And the Shaykh says, Shaykh Salih al-Fawzan, he says that any person who is called upon, then he will not be except in one of 4 situations. But anyone who is called upon will not be except in one of 4 situations. The first situation is that he actually owns and is a possessor of that which is requested from him. Right? This is the first situation. That he is an owner and a possessor of that which is being requested from him. And so, for example, the Shaykh says, if you were to ask someone for something, then obviously he must be in possession of the thing that you are asking from him. But as it relates to these people, that those who are called upon besides Allah, do they actually own anything, or own the thing, or have power over the thing which is being requested from them? And if they don't, then to supplicate to them and to ask from them is batil. How can you ask from a people who don't even possess or own or have power over that which is being requested from them? As Allah says in this ayah, لا يملكون مثقال ذرة في السماوات ولا في الأرض. That they don't even own the atom's weight. Meaning that they don't have any ownership, even if it is so small and little. And the Shaykh says, al-dharra here in this verse, it's known that it refers to the smallest thing. The smallest thing. Whether it's just like a particle of dust that goes along with the wind, or whether it's like the smallest type of like a smallest type of spider or ant or something like that, which has no weight or anything like that. It signifies the smallest thing possible. And Allah is always giving examples like this. Allah says, فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. Whoever does an atom's weight of good will see it, and whoever does an atom's weight of evil will see it. The smallest thing from good and evil. And likewise Allah says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَظْلِمُ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ. Verily Allah does not wrong even an atom's weight, even to the amount of an atom's weight. So oppression and wrongdoing here, and oppression is negated from Allah, whether it's in a small amount, whether it's in a big amount. It's negated, absolutely. So going back then, how can you call upon and how can you request from such people or from such beings who don't even possess or own, have any power over that which you are calling upon them for? So how then can you ask from them? This is just mere idle play, it's fooling around. How can you turn away from the one who owns the heavens and the earth and whatever is therein, which is Allah, and then you turn away to call upon someone who is besides him, those who don't even own anything, as Allah says, as Allah has already said, لا يملكون مثقال ذرة في السماوات ولا في الأرض. So this is the first situation, that when the one whom you are calling upon, either he will own that which you are asking from him, or he won't. And here Allah has clearly negated from the likes of these people that they don't own anything from the heavens and the earth. So how then can so here Allah here has cut off this route and this justification of calling upon such people, because they don't own anything, they don't possess anything. How can you ask them for something they don't even possess? It's like it's like saying one person owns he owns a book, and yet you go to somebody else, can I have this book? It doesn't even belong to him. He doesn't even own it. How can you then go to this person and ask for a book that actually belongs to somebody else? This is baseless. This is batil. This action is batil. It doesn't make sense. So here, when Allah says, لا يملكون مثقال ذرة في السماوات ولا في الأرض, then Allah has negated this falsehood, or one of these falsehoods. Then Allah says, وَمَا لَهُمْ فِيهِمَا مِنْ شِرْكٍ. And nor do they have any share therein. nor do you have any share therein. Right? So now the first